I'm afraid to move. If I move.
If you move. I wish I could say it.
Have mercy, if I could only say it on the radio. I'm afraid to move. I should be doing this podcast in a straitjacket, maybe with a muzzle, because I got the Jimmy legs. I got the yips.
They call it crazy legs, not Jimmy legs.
Well, I call it the Jimmy legs.
You want to be associated with it?
You never saw that Seinfeld.
Well, I saw the Jimmy episode, yes.
Well, no, there's also the Jimmy leg. You got the Jimmy legs. See what I'm talking about, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. Hopefully no children are present during this performance.
I usually stop at ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah, well, just for the sake of I'm registering that maybe you ought to send the kids to bed early. And Brian Last, you, Brian, have been browbeating me and just berating me because of my movements and my noises. If I click my pen, what the fuck is that? Or if I tap, sometimes I get emotional and I make a point on my desk, or I'm doing things here. I'm moving around. I'm enjoying life. I'm living and breathing and out there in front of everybody. And you want me to sit here silent and immobile. And I'm not supposed to smack my lips, ladies and gentlemen. And also, I got a tooth that's been the front tooth that's been knocked out 3 or 4 times. I mentioned it in the past. It's got a post in it as big as a goddamn telephone pole. And every once in a while it vibrates. I go, oh, God damn it. Shut down the show. Cornette's making noises again. You should have heard about the time of the day I had the farts. That's why I sit on a pillow now here to muffle. It's like the old detective movies in the 40s when they put the pillow in front of the gun to muffle the shot. Yeah, that's why you never hear me fart, ladies and gentlemen.
Are you finished?
I'm
For the record.
All right, go ahead and record for the record.
For the record, my concern is the listener. My concern is the listener's experience while listening to the show. Whether they're on the train, in their car.
The train was your first option?
Well, I used to listen to a lot of stuff on the train.
If you're on a fucking train, how many gardeners can you hear on a podcast? Well, you're on a goddamn choo-choo.
That's one of the secrets to our audio success. We prepare for the Long Island Railroad. If you edit for that, you're good for the rest of the world. But no, you could be anywhere. You could be in a plane. You could be running. You could be doing all sorts in traffic, angry. The audio experience has to be
running from
good.
Someone who's angry at you in traffic and trying to run you down with a car?
I didn't say that, but once
possible?
Again, it's possible. Anything's possible. The point is,
a wide world out there.
Our listeners are doing a wide array of things.
What do you think the chances are that both the guy driving the car about to run down, the guy running from him, are both listening to our podcast at the same time?
Would he regret it? The driver, would he regret it if he discovered that the man he ran down listened to the same podcast?
Oh, I thought, would you mean would he regret it if he was listening to our podcast?
No, why would he regret that? Unless it was your show. Unless it was your show.
Oh, come on now.
No, but my point is I care about the ears and the listening experience of the listener. I want them to have a pleasant time listening to our nonsense, not to hear people chewing, all sorts of noises.
I'm not
pens going back and forth. Sometimes it sounds like you're Keith Moon over there. Oh, let me tell you about SmackDown. Oh shit, I just knocked a bunch of shit over. It'll be fine. I'll fix it later. I'll be on mute for a second.
Well, anyway, while Brian is over there mute, making it a mute point, you see, ladies and gentlemen, what I have to put up with here when we do this Now I put my pen down. Oh, God damn it. Sounds like
I've hurt my hand a little bit over
Put
here.
it over there. Did you hurt yourself?
Yeah, I banged this thing really fucking hard. Hey, also some modulation. I gotta stay on top of all these things because I am not only the voice of the listener, I am the person who cares about the listener. I am the guiding light to make sure that your listening experience is stellar. And I'll be here all week.
Thank you, Captain Lou Last, the guiding light of podcasting, for you care and you tend to and you take care of all of the listeners' ears and, whatever above their neck, and I'll take care of all the listeners from the neck down. How's that?
All right, have fun with that. He'll see you at C2E2, ladies and gentlemen.
We'll get them right in the heart, is what I'm saying. We'll get them right in the feels, like the kids say. We'll appeal to them in their down deep in their soul. Deep in their souls. I sound like Big Bad John now.
What do you think of that expression? Like, that gives me the feels.
Well, it sounds like that you were on a crowded fucking subway car and somebody gave you the feels. To me, or I've heard him sound on the Twitter, they got me in the feels. What the fuck? It sounds like something that ought to be at least a misdemeanor. Nevertheless, we've got some. Can we go on with the program now that I've established that I'm going to try to make as little noise as possible?
Remember that guy, John Fields in Baltimore?
Oh, for God's sake. He has never... Whatever you're going to say, he has never been either the perpetrator of or the recipient of the feels, as far as we're aware.
I'm unaware. For the record, I'm unaware of any of this. But
it just brought to mind. See, I was always a bit of a, depending on the way you look at it, either a smart ass or a wordsmith. Little puns. Double entendres, as they say, things like that appeal to me even before I got in the wrestling business. So like 1 o'clock in the morning here in Louisville, Kentucky, I'm 18 years old or so. And back then, the only place you could get any kind of food at that time of the morning was White Castle, which pretty much qualifies for the label any kind of food. And so I go in and it's a fast food place and the young people are working there, Brian. They got their first jobs. Not all of them could be the successful Tuesday night wrestling photographer like yours truly. They were working the various shifts at the counter at the fast food place, blah, blah, blah. And I get up to place my order, and it's a young lady, probably about my age. She's, high schoolish type of level, and her name tag says her name, Brian, is Velvet. Now, this was the 70s, the late 70s, so that was a thing that could happen. And I said, your name is Velvet? And she said, yes. I said, have you ever been felt? She didn't seem to really appreciate the witticism of that remark.
And you got there from the feels.
Feels, the past tense of feels would be felt, wouldn't it? Got me in the felt?
Weren't those the cousins of the Welches, the feels?
No, those were the Hatfields. Those were the Hatfields. They just shortened it for the Marquis, but those were the Hatfields. So they were well versed in family feuds.
That is crazy that like the Hatfields versus the McCoys, like that is the same family as the Fields.
Yeah, not the exact same people. They didn't shoot a bunch of people in Kentucky and West Virginia and then move down to the Gulf Coast, but it was branches of the family. So, hey, that's where the statement came from. Personal issues draw money. Think about it, why don't you?
Okay, well, I mean, I don't know what there is to think about. We already know this.
Well, that's a thing to think about. See, you proved my point.
I've thought about it. I haven't proved any point.
All right, well.
You had a point?
You haven't thought about it long enough. The longer you think about it, the more you'll prove my point.
This has been Happy Talk, ladies and gentlemen.